What is up, everybody? It is Bourgeois here, and in this video we will be covering the High Mono synth. This is the start of a new series. It's by High Plugins. I basically came across this synth because I was on Instagram one day and I was on the Explore page and I just happened to come across this synth, and what really stood out to me about this synth is that it's based off the Oberheim synth, one of the first ones that they released, the Oberheim SEM, which stands for Synthesizer Expander Module. Without further ado, let's dive into it. So here's the signal path. Signal path is different than Helm. I think it's important to note here, it's pretty interesting. The first part of this synth is the oscillators. So the oscillators, just like the Helm synth, you have a coarse and a fine tune. The coarse will kind of dictate which pitch. You can do like chorded synths and stuff like that and fine tune. You can sort of like a detune. You're also given modulation knobs, and those allow you to modulate. You can use an envelope or an LFO to modulate the frequency or the pulse width. On the bottom, you're given a pulse width knob, which allows you to essentially change the width of the waveform. It just doesn't work on the saw waveform. You're also given a sync, a little switch here that allows you to connect the two LFOs so that they're, hence the name, they're in sync with each other. Then you have the subsection right here where you could switch between the square wave and the triangle wave. Moving over to the filter section. By the way, the VC part for VCO and VCF, the VC stands for voltage control. So it's just another way of saying, like, VCO is just another way of saying oscillator, voltage control oscillator. VCF, just another way of saying filter, voltage control filter. Moving on to the filter section, you have the you have a frequency knob, which you can essentially change the cutoff. You have a resonance. You also have a modulation, which you can have a source between the envelope 2 and the LFO. You also have you could switch between the low pass, high pass, and you also have a band pass version. You could switch that on. And on the bottom is essentially like a mixer, and it works different. You don't have sliders essentially. You have these parameters that you can choose, and I noticed that when the parameter is at like 90 degrees, it's like at 0 volume. It's like the sliders all the way down, and then for example, this would be like turning the slider all the way up on the pulse wave. This would be like turning it down, and this would be like, turning it up on the saw wave. So it works a little different. It's pretty cool. You also have a noise part here, I should mention, along with the sub, so you could switch between a sub and noise. And so that basically covers it for this video. In the next video, we will be going over the second half of the synth. So I hope you found this helpful. Stay posted for the next one. Until next time.